Hi, this is Michael here. I'm CTO at Jentic. I just wanted to put together a quick demonstration video. It's a really exciting time in the AI field. Agents are getting good enough to start to reliably do the work that we've been envisaging them doing for the past few years. And the tool layer at Agent is also getting good enough to service them in a really reliable way. And I hope this video will demonstrate this. Internally, we're also getting very excited. We're starting to deploy agents internally using Jentic, obviously. We're starting to see a lot of efficiencies and a lot of places where using agents such as Claude Cowork and Openclaw together with the security layer that we've built at Jentic is enabling all sorts of things that we couldn't do before. So this is real work that I'm going to be demonstrated here. I was at a demo night for Openclaw a few nights ago, and it occurred to me then that so few people outside of developers have actually seen agents doing something useful to their work. So now I'm going to show you my own non-development work that I do day to day at Jentic. I'm going to show you an example of using Cowork to enable to make my day more efficient against kind of my CTO context project that I have servicing it. And then I'll show you the same thing in Openclaw. This is all going to be very simple and high level examples. There's obviously a lot more you can do with whatever agent framework you use and Jentic, but I'm just really going to keep this as non-technical and high level and kind of useful to most people as I can make it right now. So this is not going to be very polished. It's going to be quite raw. I'm going to try and avoid having too many jump cuts. I want to show this live. Well, it's obviously not live now. It's a video, but you know what I mean. And then, so I'm going to show you my workflow that I use day to day in Cowork, and then I'm going to show you the same thing happening in Openclaw. And then if you're still around, I'll talk a little bit more about Jentic. I'm also going to, whoops, I'm going to show you. Yeah, show you a little bonus demonstration here. So as I was putting this video together, I needed to find that title card that I was just showing, and I had Cowork through Jentic look through our slides and come up with a list of slides that could work, and I found one, and that's where the title card for this video came from. So anyhow, without too much further ado, here is the first demo using Claude Cowork. So here we are in front of Claude Code. No, Claude Cowork. Claude Code is another thing, but it works a lot like Claude Code, so pardon the confusion. It's connected to two separate things. One of them is this Jentic CTO context directory on my local disk. This is actually the agent's memory, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. Secondly, it's connected to Jentic, and I will talk about that as well a bit later, but first I want to demonstrate what we're doing before we get too deep into how things work. So I'm going to try and simulate a piece of real work that I would do in my day-to-day work. This is all real and what I'm likely to do, except I need to find someone in my inbox here who is not going to mind me showing their name. Oh, here's one. Okay. So this is a mail from Kevin. It's a meeting invite from Kevin, actually, and he's from Ahoy, and we'll give them a little shout out later. They're building a CRM to be from the ground up AI native, and that's a really interesting project. Might talk a little bit more about that later since I'm using his name here. I owe it to him now. And what we're going to do is something I typically do during a workday. I would have my agent read a mail, update the context underneath, and let me know what's going on and what the next step should be. So I'm going to ask my agent, let's see. I see a mail from can you take a look and catch me up on what's going on there? Now, this is obviously a fictional case where I haven't been paying attention to our conversations, but so that's going there. It's using Jentic. The only tool connected to Cowork right now is Jentic, and it's connected to a good number of tools underneath, and I'll show you how that works later. But you can see right now it's searching my Gmail endpoints to read the email messages. While that's going on, I might just swap over to the agent capability set as defined in Jentic here. So this is under MCP configuration here, and you can see Jentic is connected to, in just a moment, this is a QA server. connected to my calendar, it's connected to my Gmail in a read-only fashion. I don't like it sending emails without my knowledge. Connected to Google Docs, Google Drive, and to Jira as well. I could add more. I might show you that process a little bit later, but I'm just too excited. I have to see what's going on back in Cowork here. Still working away. And here's the summary. It's calendar update, not a standalone email. You can see it's a demo meeting. And I might go, through all emails from Kevin to catch me up. And again, Jentic is going to call out to all of those connected services to fetch all those mails and summarize and get back to me with them. And just while it's doing that, I might also show you the API registry for Jentic. So right now we're in Jentic, we're connected to these 5 services via our MCP service that connects to Claude Cowork quite nicely, I should say. If I wanted to add more APIs and more capabilities to that agent, I'd go into this API registry, look for the API I'm looking for. Actually, that's my registry. I'd actually go into the Jentic API public directories, look for the API that I want. So GitHub, for instance, say I wanted to connect GitHub to the agent and give it GitHub capabilities. I'd do this, and then I would add this to my personal registry. And then I would add a credential for it. Now, I'm not actually going to do this now because I need to mess about with this a bit to get it working and get the key out of GitHub, and I want to keep this an uncut video. But there you can see the GitHub personal token there. If I created one of those and added this to the agent, that would appear and that would work immediately in Jentic without having to mess with any of the agent configuration or add another to or all of this. And you can see here, it's 4 large documents for analysis. Interesting. Let's have a look at what the trace is here. That's its local to-dos, but this is Jentic down here. So you can see it's calling the Jentic. Oh, it's actually exceeding its token limits here, which is fine. I think Claude Cowork actually handles this quite well. When we get to Openclaw, you can see it does kind of choke on this sometimes. And here's the full picture. So it's gone through my email. It's got a full picture of my history with Kevin, and then has caught me up like a personal assistant agent, as it should do. So just another quick use case here. Let's say that I want to set up a meet with my coworkers on this. So could we set up, I want to set up a meeting with Sean, Dorothy, and myself to discuss this first. Can we find a time when we're all free? And I think anyone who has a lot of meetings as part of their day-to-day work knows the pain of trying to synchronize multiple people into one meeting sometimes. Oh, it actually doesn't know who Dorothy is. It's looking at my context files. It's found her email address, running the command. Got the emails. And it's going to work through my calendar to find a day for us. I'll also add, while it's doing that, not everybody obviously is using public APIs all the time. You may have all sorts of internal systems with their own APIs, their own systems that you want to connect to. You can do that as well through an API upload, so you can upload and score your APIs. I'm not going to get too much into that into this video because we want to keep this relatively short and focused. But I will show you that all of Jentic's public APIs are available here. Unlike other sites, these aren't connectors. This is all open source. A lot of well-known SaaS public services are here. Some of them do need some work. This is a big public project that we put out there a while ago, but it's in fairly good shape. So if you want to try Jentic against some public APIs, there's where you go. And if you have any problems, submit PRs to this repository and help us with that. Now, here we go. So we want to discuss the meeting. It's found exactly one time, which is 12:30 to 1 p.m. So it's fine. Great, great. Can we set up an invite? Set up a calendar invite. And draft a quick mail to them. Explain why. Quickly while it's doing that, I might as well show you as well the project underneath. So serving as the project's memory, so to speak here, I have a structured project that contains kind of all of the various aspects of the job. So technical architecture here, leads, customers. I won't click into those because some of those are private, events, whole business context, so that when the agent needs to know what Jentic is and what it does, it's all there and available. And my writing style as well. So if I want to draft an email, it will read my writing style first and come up with something that sounds more or less like me. Just something to note, obviously if I'm writing you or sending an email to you, I'm doing it personally with my personal touch. But other people, I'll have the agent just use my writing style to get back to them. Here we go. Invite created and sent to Dorothy. Oh, let's check our calendar over here to see if the invite is there. Where's my calendar gone? I've lost it. Let's just do this. Actually, I don't want to do this here because I don't want everybody to see that. But if we go to the date that it's set, it was Monday, was it? Oh, here it is. Here's the meeting. I'll drag the meeting across to show you. I won't actually show you my whole calendar, but there's the meeting invite that's been created and sent. You can see that there. And that's it. Yeah, so that's a very quick demonstration of how Jentic can improve your day, at least make your day a little bit more efficient in a very, very surface level case. Obviously, there's a lot more that can be done with this, but yeah, I thought I'd just demonstrate a quick use case that everyone can relate to. And from here, we're going to go and do the same thing in Openclaw. So I'll set that up and then I'll see you there. So here we are in Openclaw, and this time I'm going to type first and talk after. So I'm going to do the exact same thing as I did last time to start with. Check my most recent mail from and catch me up. I'm out of the loop. So Openclaw is obviously a lot newer than Cowork. It's got some really good things about it. What it is, actually, I think when you strip away all the noise, it's a very good agent orchestrator that I think we as an industry have been missing. It will allow you to run agents in the background autonomously doing work on your behalf instead of purely viewing an agent as a chatbot that you're always interacting with. But it's obviously very raw and very new and is somewhat renowned for being lax on security, but look, it's early days. And Jentic has a solution for that, even though our focus is really on enterprises, and I don't think at the moment I'd advocate any enterprises try to use Openclaw at any kind of scale other than in a small, very controlled experiment. We can see here that we're connected to the exact same set of integrations within Jentic. I haven't reconfigured anything here. I've just connected Jentic into Openclaw in a similar way to how I've connected it into Cowork earlier. Even though it's the same integration, it's a slightly different way of doing this because we have a special MCP configuration just for Claude Code, but you can see here this is the exact same set of credentials set up here. So, oh, and by the way, I have to mention that these credentials never leave Jentic server, so this is never exposed to either Openclaw or Cowork. They live purely on Jentic server. The only thing that gets shared in one case is the agent key. I might show you this quickly because that could take a little while. So see, there's an actual API key here that you use. You give this to your agent on the Openclaw side, and it will use that to associate all of your integrations and your authentications with your agent instance, but without ever revealing it to Openclaw. It's not perfect yet. There's still a lot of work to do there, but it's certainly a lot better than the default state of things where you're providing all sorts of keys for different services to Openclaw, and it has access to all of them. It's sharing in the LLM, they're all over the file system, etc., etc. So here we are. So same thing here. I'm not going to go into too much detail here or do too much more here because we've seen this in Cowork. We could see it's going to be doing the exact same thing here. I might do something slightly different just for the sake of example. So I'm going to use Jira instead. So that's, again, it's in my credential set here, but it's not part of the Google Suite. So it might provide something or provide a little bit of more demonstration. Can you add an item to my Jocto board reminding me to catch up on this. Now this Jocto board is just a board that I keep in Jira. Jentic Office of the CTO, and Office of the CTO is essentially me and my agents at this point. So nothing too fancy there. It's just a board I've been using to keep track of incoming work by reading emails and putting them into the Jira board essentially. Honestly, I think when Openclaw evolves a little bit and we are more sure about the security there, that can be replicated within here. So you'd have a long-running agent that's reading my email and adding to the board or notifying me when something important happens. Let's just have a look here. I'm going to skip through a lot of this. Okay. Yep, and there it is. Created your Jocto board. And I've created your Jocto board. That doesn't sound right. Let's try this again. This is warts and all. Sometimes you have to be a little bit more specific. Again, this is just kind of thrown together the setup here. I actually, in Cowork, I actually have more specific instructions to use Jentic every time, and that makes everything work a lot more smoothly. But let's try this again. This just created a file in my workspace. And yep, it's come back here. This is perfect. Created an account in your Jocto board. Took a little bit to get there, but this is a much rougher setup. I've been working with Cowork for a few weeks now and just put this up last week. So there's the Jira ticket there. And that's been Openclaw. Again, the exact same set of integrations I'd used earlier in Cowork also work just as well for Openclaw. So just to sign off here, that was a really quick demonstration of Jentic working against two different agentic platforms, Claude Cowork and Openclaw. I think if you're a larger enterprise and you have a lot of systems, a lot of teams all over the place building agents, experimenting with agents in various different ways, having all of your credentials managed in one central place is very important, because otherwise you get a shadow IT problem with credentials being leaked all over the place and used in various ways in different projects. Jentic really gives you a way of centralizing this all in one place. Other than that, what I've shown you is really just the tip of the iceberg here. I've shown you a very simple use case against public APIs doing something at a personal productivity level. Obviously, that's not the goal of Jentic here. The goal of Jentic really is to also enable this for legacy systems and legacy APIs. So the graphic I have on screen shows this. I'm not going to go into huge detail about any of these particular components right now, but suffice it just to say we're working on other components that would allow you to bring your APIs and existing legacy systems into the AI age and expose them in ways that are useful for AI. So that improves API scoring, automated API improvements, a sandbox, which is really important for testing and validation without putting your production data at any risk. The API catalog has shown you a little bit of that. There's more to it. I'll call this the inflection point for now, but this is where your APIs meet your agents, and that's what I've demonstrated today. And then off in the future, we talk about workflows as well. I'm going to do separate videos on these later. Workflows will essentially allow you to turn what you just saw, as in when an agent tries to do something, it will go and it will look up the tools, it will experiment a little bit. You probably didn't see that behind the scenes until it gets the right one, and then it will eventually find a way in through and execute it. With workflows, you can do that. You can capture that essentially, and the next time an agent goes to do that, it will just execute the workflow. It's a lot faster, it saves you on inference time, it's a lot cheaper, it's a lot more repeatable, and that's how you can build up a library of business processes within workflows. Beyond that, automated workflow creation, once you can do that once for a workflow that you're interacting with. Now imagine you have something that's going and mining all these business processes for your organization. But again, that's way off in the future, and we'll talk about that later in later videos. But that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions or follow-ups, I think my email was probably pasted all over that video, but it's michael@jentic.com. And yeah, I look forward to doing more of these in the future.